Arrays are a collection of items, which means that oftentimes we want to do the same thing with each item in the array. Loops allow us to do just that. We can loop through an entire array or part of an array and perform any number of actions on each item. Let's go into Workspaces and see how we can use a while loop to loop through each item on our learning list. Let's comment out this loop for years. Now let's open our indexed arrays file. We'll copy the code from our learn list along with the A sort. Now we're ready to loop through each item. Let's pull up the documentation for the each function in PHP. PHP each function. We see that we pass it the array and it returns the current key and value pair from that array, and then it advances the array cursor. If we scroll down to example 2, we see that each is typically used in conjunction with list to traverse an array. If we look at list, we see that it's not really a function, but a language construct used to assign a list of variables in one operation. Let's go back to the example in the documentation for the each function. And let's copy this while loop. Back in Workspaces, we can paste in the loop and change our array. Now let's run the script in our console. PHP Loops.php. We see our list sorted by value. We can also combine this with our count to only return a certain number of items. Let's say 2. We'll add a variable named count. We'll set it equal to 0. And then we can add a condition to our loop. And count plus plus is less than 2. In the last video, we added our incrementing operator to the beginning of the variable so that the number was incremented before the comparison was made. This time, I want to compare first and then increment, so I add the incrementing operator to the end of the variable. This way, the first time, 0 will be evaluated as less than 2, and the second time, 1 will be evaluated as less than 2. Now let's run the script again. Now we see 2 empty items. Hey, wait, what went wrong? Remember when I talked about priority? The double ampersand has a higher priority than equal, so it's as if we put parentheses around the each and the count. That's not what we want to happen, so we have 2 options. We can change the double ampersand to the keyword and, or we can put parentheses around the first evaluation. I want to keep with the consistency of using double ampersands, so I'm going to put parentheses around this first evaluation. Now when I run the script, we see the first 2 items on the list. This could be a good way to see a couple items on your list without getting overwhelmed.